Good morning. This is Van's Level 8. Here we do our pre-market August 24th, 2026. Starting out with pretty benign conditions today. Let's go ahead and get to the charts here. Starting out with our key ranges chart. First thing we'd notice is that we're in Bollinger Band squeezes on both indexes, on the 5-minute, on the 2-minute. Where right now we're rotating on these Globex points of control. This is where the most volume has taken place overnight. So, you know, we don't have a lot to go on yet. Now, NQ has moved down more aggressively than ES. Our structure study is giving us likely bearish based on it. And ES is still at a VWAP magnet. So we'll start getting there's Globex VWAP. We'll start getting the regular session or the cash session VWAP here at the open, and sometimes we see them bounce back and forth, et cetera, et cetera. So there's those squeezes. We've seen a little bit of selling here recently in the treasuries. They're still mildly up. The 30-year in particular is up. The long end. Go to our, we take a look at, well, let's take a look at these profiles. Let's say we're on the Globex point of control. This is below the prior auction here. So here's Friday's cash session auction up here. There's that point of control on NQ and ES. So we've definitely established a new area, a new value area below it. And we'll just have to see how we turn out the rest of the day with it. We'll get another raid here at 10:30 Eastern. Let's go look at these longer term time frames. We've got some closes here below this prior support. That goes back to August 6th. Starting to get some closes. We came down. Obviously, we're getting some chop on it right now. This is an hourly chart. This is the 30-minute chart, most likely a squeeze as well. So we do have another level down here at from a major standpoint, another level down here around 28 975, something like that. Let me make sure of that. 961, yeah, 975 is going to be a good one there. It looks like 29, but the daily's bigger. And we've got another one below that. Now, I don't know if we start getting to these things to the downside. That's a pretty good ways away. 28.4. We really don't have the ATR to get there from where we've been. And now Arval's given us, sometimes gives us a crazy number right before the market. We'll just have to see how the volume goes. If we would get normal volume, we wouldn't expect to see some uh, giant increase in ATR without a catalyst. So from an ATR standpoint, you've got 29,025 and 29,575 on NQ. ES is acting the same here, same type of chop, same type of squeeze. This is a 2-minute chart. Uh, so just benign conditions until we get some price action. And we're getting a bearish call out of our structure study on NQ anyway, so we'll see how it goes on that. Our shorter time frame charts, 2, 5, 10, and 15 here. Squeeze on NQ right there. The 5 is coming down. We're obviously now that previous support for a long, going back to the 6 is now turning into resistance on the upside. And that's what we look for from these levels. We also pay attention to these 200s, and it's kind of coming off that 2-minute 200. So here's some wiki action here. Maybe looking at that, we can look at gamma and see how positive that is. Over on our faster execution chart. We execute on the 1 minute chart based on levels, within the context of those larger time frames and levels like gamma and things of that nature. So here's these rates. 10 years very benign, very very stable. Around. It hasn't moved much, hasn't registered neutral. They are buying that 30-year. We'll see how that plays out. So less confidence about the near term. VIX is up, but still sort of below normal here. We're probably going to see, the options prices aren't going to be crazily expensive based on our based on VIX, and we'll see some more in the playbook. All the indexes are down a little bit. NQ being the most of the bunch. The Dow is 15, Russell's 15, ES 18, and there's NQ. Now oil is down, oil's down. That's a bullish thing. The dollar and VIX say they're up a little. That's a bearish thing usually. So we've got winds blowing in opposite directions, and we're going to need some type of resolution. It could be one of these choppy Mondays that just get difficult to trade, especially if you don't have a lot of levels, and certainly the standard levels on your chart. It's too early for our sector information. It's too early for bold and other things that we look at here. So that's where we're at. We're kind of on that front. We're kind of benign here. We got to look at the playbook. We don't have any large impact news today, catalysts. Uh, so it's just kind of too neutral, conditional, two-way risk. That's all we're looking at there. We've got a rundown here of what we just went on. If you don't happen to see this show, it gives you a good backdrop of what's going on. The option sentiment is complacent. We saying we don't. It's just talking about the numbers, and you can go over these. We just don't have a lot of participation. We do have call leaning flow though. The structural read again. We've got a flip point here of 76.73. We're going to get the let's go back to we go back to our ranges chart here. We've got an implied SPX level of 76.59. So we could be dropping underneath this flip point anyway. Doesn't mean that we're going to get into negative gamma. That's just where maybe we might see a difference, start to see a difference in the hedging impulse. Flip points are not switches that are thrown there. They're an area that tell us where the options dealers may start to change their hedging a little bit. And we've got a call wall at 77.10. There is no pronounced put wall here. So to the upside here on ES, this is all ES. We don't have SPX in the pre-market. ES is right now around 58 to 77.10, 76.58. Then a pretty 76.58 is pretty much, it's really below this call wall. That's going to be at like 76.92. So it's a ways up there on SPX when we see that. We'll have a better look at that probably on bar charts. Model here. This has a couple of days in it, but we can use it with the Level8 model is coming. And there's a call wall here at 76.95. So that's pretty similar. Sometimes we may trade those as a resistance point. We'll just have to see how that goes. You can look at SPX on that we're trading some butterflies this afternoon, and these things will be more important as we move into the afternoon butterfly trading. Here's your acronyms for what we talk about when we say that, when we use these terms. And key levels to watch, we always look at H1 and L1. That's Friday's regular sessions highs and lows, like we've seen here on we look at NQ. This is the level we're oscillating on. Basically, we're dropping down a little bit below it. We've got a ways to go down here to get to the ES version of this. So that's the next kind of levels down we'll be looking at are these pre-market lows. And this is 64 to 61. That's 3 points. That's around 15 points of NQ that we may see something in the range of 29 100. And that's not, that there's no shock there. That is a big fat round number. And if we look at you look at the options chains, you can see that's where gamma is. That's where a lot of volume is on the options chain. That's why we watch these standard levels of, fives and zeros. We can reasonably expect there to be orders sitting there. Nothing really to see on nothing really to see on our volume profile here. We've stepped down. That is the step down. There's there's the point of control, the Globex point of control. This is again ES. There was a prior swing back here at 57. That's gonna translate to around 76.40-ish on SPX if you're interested in that one. Well, we've got the levels, we've got everything set. We're just ready for some more data. You're obviously watching this on YouTube. If you like this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. Go to level8trading.com. You can get on Discord. You can sign up for a playbook and start, maybe being exposed to how we trade these levels, be exposed to how we trade butterflies based on gamma, whether they're the level 8 gamma flies. So I'll be back in the morning and, good luck trading today.